The winds swirling through the halls of Amalienburg Palace have carried more than just the echoes of tradition and protocol, they've now carried whispers of a last-ditch royal maneuver, a move that could shake the very foundations of the Danish royal family. As King Frederik X ascends the throne with a poised, steady hand, the world watches, not merely for the ceremonial pomp, but for the fragile emotional threads binding Denmark's most famous family, threads that seem dangerously close to snapping. Behind the gilded walls and well-rehearsed smiles lies a deeply personal saga, one of fractured relationships, bitter rivalries, and a family trying to balance personal grievances with national duty. And at the heart of it all is a desperate effort, a final plea, to remain in the good graces of King Frederik, even as the shadows of past royal decisions loom over his reign. Once upon a time, the Danish royal family was seen as one of Europe's most stable monarchies. While other royal houses were riven by scandals, abdications, and controversial choices, Queen Margrethe's court projected an image of quiet dignity. But behind the scenes, tensions had been simmering for years. The defining fracture came in 2022 when Queen Margrethe, in a move that stunned even seasoned royal watchers, announced that the children of Prince Joachim, her youngest son, would be stripped of their royal titles, effective from the start of 2023. This decision, she explained, was to allow her grandchildren to shape their own lives without the burden of royal obligations. Yet, to those inside the family, and particularly to Prince Joachim, it felt like a betrayal. Prince Joachim's reaction was swift and unmistakably emotional. He expressed public disappointment, stating the children had been hurt and confused. His wife, Princess Marie, visibly shaken during interviews, lamented how the decision had been communicated with little warning. What was meant to be a modernization of the monarchy now risked fracturing it. Overnight, what had been a private royal issue exploded into a public royal drama. Commentators dissected every word, body language was analyzed to exhaustion, and suddenly, Denmark's serene royal image was under siege. At the core of this turmoil was a father's anguish. Prince Joachim had devoted decades to representing Denmark abroad, from his military service to his diplomatic work in Paris and Washington, D.C. His children, Count Nikolai, Count Felix, Count Henrik, and Countess Athena, had grown up with the knowledge that, although not in direct line for the throne, their identity was inherently royal. To remove their titles was to erase that identity, or so it felt to Joachim and Marie. The loss wasn't just ceremonial, it felt deeply personal, as though the very foundation of their children's upbringing was suddenly upended. For King Frederik, then still crown prince, the situation was as delicate as it was explosive. Publicly supportive of his mother, he made few comments, but insiders say he tried to mediate behind the scenes. Frederick had always been seen as the peacemaker, the thoughtful brother who tried to keep family harmony intact. But the damage had been done. Fast forward to the present day, and King Frederik X now sits upon the throne. His transition has been widely praised, dignified, modern, and quietly charismatic. But the ghosts of that controversial decision have not faded. If anything, they have grown louder. Reports from inside the Danish court now suggest that there is a subtle, carefully orchestrated effort, a final push, to regain Frederik's trust and perhaps, just perhaps, to reverse the loss of those royal titles. This isn't about vanity, it's about legacy, about protecting one's children, and about trying to heal a wound that has never properly closed. Sources close to the royal family say that Prince Joachim has made several discreet visits back to Denmark, often under the radar, not just for family functions but for private meetings with Frederick. Their body language during these moments, fleeting hugs, soft exchanges, long pauses, suggest a slow thawing. But is it enough? Can a brother who once felt sidelined truly make peace with the brother who now wears the crown? Princess Marie, too, has reportedly played a key role in these efforts. Known for her intelligence and diplomatic finesse, she has been quietly reaching out to allies within the court, attempting to rebuild bridges that were scorched during the title controversy. Her charm, once overshadowed by more high-profile royal figures, has become an asset in this emotional chess game. Insiders say she has appealed directly to Frederick, not through grand gestures, but through carefully chosen words, emphasizing the psychological toll the title removal had on her children, especially Countess Athena, the youngest, who reportedly struggled deeply with the sudden shift in identity. But what makes this new development even more compelling is the timing. The Danish monarchy is undergoing a generational shift. With Queen Margrethe stepping down, the old guard has yielded to a younger, more publicly engaged monarch. Frederick and Mary represent a modern monarchy, more accessible, more transparent, and more emotionally aware. In this context, the title controversy seems like a relic of a bygone era. Could it be that Frederick, now with full royal authority, is reconsidering the decision, not as a reversal of his mother's will, but as a gesture of healing? Public opinion, too, has evolved. Initial support for the Queen's decision has given way to growing sympathy for Joachim and his children. Many Danes now view the title removal as unnecessarily harsh. The Danish media, once cautious in its coverage, has grown more open in questioning whether this royal rift was worth the emotional cost. Social media, in particular, has become a battleground of opinions, with hashtags like #GiveThemBack surfacing regularly. Young Danes, in particular, have expressed empathy for the children, many of whom now juggle private lives with public scrutiny. Within the palace, however, the issue remains deeply sensitive. Royal courtiers are reportedly divided. Some believe reinstating the titles would be an admission that Queen Margrethe's decision was wrong, a dangerous precedent. Others argue that King Frederik must prioritize unity over precedent. The stakes are high. If the titles are restored, it would mark a dramatic shift, perhaps even a redefinition of what it means to be royal in Denmark. If not, the divide within the royal family may remain an unhealed scar, casting a shadow over Frederik's otherwise promising reign. In this intricate royal ballet, every move is calculated. The recent public appearances of Joachim and Marie have not been coincidental. They've attended more events in Denmark, participated in more interviews, and presented a united, composed image. Even Count Nikolai, the eldest of Joachim's children, has stepped more confidently into the public eye, signaling perhaps a readiness to resume a more royal role. Their actions speak louder than any official statement. They are still here, still loyal, still hopeful, but beneath the hopeful surface is a deeply human story. One of a brother who watched from the sidelines as his children's titles were removed. One of a man who now wears a crown and must balance the weight of his responsibilities with the emotions of his family. One of children growing up between two worlds, neither fully royal nor fully private. And one of a wife and mother, Princess Marie, who has stood firm amid the storm, protecting her children as fiercely as any lioness in a palace full of politics. As King Frederik continues to define his legacy, this moment could become a defining chapter. Not through grand reforms or public declarations, but through a quiet, compassionate decision. One that says, family matters. One that says, we can move forward together. One that says, healing is possible. Denmark is watching. The world is watching. The royal family, so often bound by duty, now has a chance to be bound by something deeper, understanding. And so, the question remains, hanging over the Danish monarchy like a crown made not of gold, but of choices, will King Frederik extend the olive branch fully? Will he restore what was once taken? And will the royal family emerge from this chapter stronger, more united, and more human than ever before? If you enjoyed this deep dive into the royal family drama unfolding in Denmark, make sure to subscribe, like, comment, and share this video. Your support helps us bring you more powerful, emotional, and exclusive stories from royal households around the world. And tell us in the comments, should King Frederik restore the titles to Prince Joachim's children, or is it too late?